So get started. Yeah, we got a fair bit to get through. So yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, great. Thank you. Testing. Hello.
Come on in. Alrighty.
All right. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining us. So yeah, we're super excited to be here today. Got lots to cover. So we're from Ignite Digital Agency, and we're here to talk to you. The topic of today's talk is boost your marketing performance and discover ChatGPT secrets today. So we've got tons of takeaways for you. I'm personally super obsessed with ChatGPT. I think everyone on the team will say that as soon as it came out, I haven't stopped talking about it. So happy to be sharing some of those, the things I've learned on that journey over the last few months with you. And yeah, we've got a few others from the marketing team sharing how they're using it day to day as well. So some quick intros. So I'm Anthony, founder and creative director at Ignite. So I've got over 20 years experience in the digital industry, guest lecturer at some design schools and industry awards judge for the CSS Design Awards and some other web industry awards. Studied design, neuroscience and business, and recently got 1 million views in a month of my AI posts on LinkedIn, which I was pretty happy about. And away from all work, I am raising 2 wild little humans, and I'm a keen runner. And recent claim to fame is that I met Sam Altman, CEO of ChatGPT, and got to ask him a couple of questions, and that was thanks to the Startup Network here at the Commons. So shout out, I can't see them here at the moment, but shout out to you guys.
Hello, I'm Kate. I am the marketing director here at Ignite. So a bit about me. I have about 10 years of management experience across marketing and PR. I've worked for brands like Uber and Thank You, which has been amazing. My role here at Ignite is really just getting shit done, hustling the team and making sure that our clients are serviced well across marketing, but also our team is supported and using amazing tools like ChatGPT. And then I'm a major sausage dog mom. I'll bring out my dog Peanut at any point if you like, as well as Taylor Swift. So if you want some trivia with me later, I'm on. And that's about it. Going to hand over to Tim.
Thank you. All right, hey. Tim.
Hey everyone, can't see your faces, but I hope you can see mine. So my name is Tim Vasquez. I'm the senior digital marketing specialist here. Got 9 years of experience in digital marketing. I look after Google Ads, Meta, and I'm a GA4 specialist. And I've had one of my Meta ads featured in Adweek, so that was pretty cool. And at nighttime, I'm just super obsessed with Midjourney and ChatGPT, so that's pretty much running my life and going down that rabbit hole. I've got 2 little legends that I look after and just guiding them through life. I've recently become a bit of a roller coaster addict, so don't ask me how that happened, it just did. And I am a supreme fried chicken creator. I love fried chicken and I love making it. So yep, that's me.
Yeah, Tim actually lives in Brisbane, so that's probably why he's a roller coaster addict, because I don't think anyone in Melbourne is, but that makes more sense. Over to you, Nat.
Hi, everyone. I am Natalie Herscu, another senior digital marketing specialist here at Ignite. I've had over 10 years experience in digital marketing, specializing in Meta, e-com and CRO. I actually have 2 e-commerce businesses of my own, and I'm known to be a strategic thinker. I'm actually currently in LA, hence why I'm not physically there in person with you, trying my best to become a pickleball champion. And I do have a unique jacket collection, but I'm not wearing any of them at the moment because it's currently 30 degrees over there.
Yeah, can vouch for that. Nice. So this is the rest of the team. So essentially, we break down into 4 departments. We've got a digital marketing team, design team, code and strategy teams. And so, yeah, a little bit more about Ignite just for a minute until we jump into the talk. So we are specialists in website design and development and digital marketing for B2B enterprises in future tech, green energy and not-for-profits. So I've had the privilege of working with some really amazing brands over our time. And yeah, on the website side of things, always been really focused on the design and usability of what we create. And for once clients have kind of this presence with us, this new digital presence, they roll into the marketing team and they look after them and make sure tons of leads are heading their way. So that's us in a nutshell. So what is ChatGPT? I'm tipping that if we're all here, we know the basics. So I'm not going to jump into that, but this is ChatGPT's definition of what it is, but nobody's got time to read all of that. So, you know, as we all know, this is the most amazing thing about ChatGPT. It's so conversational and you just kind of go backwards and forwards. So making it shorter is just asking it to make it shorter. So it's a little bit more able to be understood. But if you want to go even further, you can explain it to a 6-year-old. So this is starting to get to a level that I can comprehend. But maybe this is another way that you could explain ChatGPT to someone if they're a super fan of Star Wars and it's going to give you the whole story of ChatGPT in the Star Wars context. But this is probably more like it. So acting as a Neanderthal, explaining it to another Neanderthal, or finally, we got to something that I could understand, make it more Neanderthal-y. So ChatGPT, like fire talk, you grunt, fire talk back. So I've got it. So this is like a really good demo of like, I think where ChatGPT can really disrupt the education market. And it's just so great that you can have things explained to you in like an infinite amount of ways in a way that you can comprehend it. So it can distill really complex topics down into yeah, really simple terms, which is quite difficult to do. So it's one of the coolest things about it. So I'm not sure if anyone's seen this floating around online, but it's quite overwhelming when you look at this. Like, I think last I heard, it's kind of surprising globally, still only 17% of people or something have heard of ChatGPT. A lot of that's got to do with the fact that a lot of people don't have access to the internet still even, but it's still quite a small number when you kind of like feel like you're surrounded by it, like maybe we are. And yeah, when you start seeing the new tools coming out all the time, it can feel like what everyone says, like you're falling behind. But we don't want to be bombarding you today. There's really only just the 2 tools that you need. So ChatGPT and Midjourney are going to do 99% of what you need to get done in your business. And we're going to talk about today how they can help you. So for ChatGPT, just a few things. Obviously, there's millions of ways that it can help, but content generation is an obvious one. Tone of voice for your brand, keeping that consistent across all channels is also a really big one. Competitor analysis. So there's, yeah, really easy ways to kind of analyze what your competitors are doing by maybe copying and pasting their website content into ChatGPT. And once you can kind of see maybe where all your competitors' points of differences are, it then is easy for you to maybe establish your unique point of difference. So yeah, that ties into competitor analysis, so process automation and data analysis too. So Tim's going to talk a bit about data analysis and how we're using that on the digital marketing side of things. And Midjourney is more, so ChatGPT is the text side of things, Midjourney is the image side, and that kind of completes the marketing and content creation side of things. And so yeah, really helpful with marketing, advertising, product development, so it can imagine products that don't even exist. There's some really cool things popping up now for like interior design and architecture, imagining these really cool kind of houses and interiors that are borderline impossible but look amazing. And yeah, customer experience, so you can like create hyper-targeted visuals for, say, your different user groups, which is also really cool, because no one's got thousands of dollars to go out and do an individual unique photo shoot for each of those groups, but you can do them in seconds with Midjourney. So content creation, I've spoken about, but this is something that we came across recently too. We work with some clients, a lot of clients in the education sector, some private schools around Australia, and also some aged care facilities. And both of those organizations always have lots of challenges with kind of getting consent for images. And in schools, it's when kids leave or they grow up so fast and there's a photo on the website where they like look way younger than they actually are. And that's a really big deal when you're in the school. And yeah, so it's really great for generating images for companies like that. And I'll jump into that a bit more later. So yeah, now we'll show you how to do all of this and more. So I'll hand over to Kate, who's going to talk about paid ads in AI and how it's transforming paid ads.
Thank you. Cool. So I know that most of you probably aren't in marketing, but I think we can probably all relate to we need this yesterday. The urgency message of something's gone wrong, the bottom line is looking a bit skewy, and we need to put together a strategy to turn things around really quickly. For me, this means the marketing team panicking and trying to get together a whole campaign overnight. So, and usually that means kind of subpar work. But now with ChatGPT, we can really make it work and we can move faster than ever before. It doesn't necessarily mean it has to be marketing. So you can apply this to your everyday. If you had to get a new landing page, if you had a pitch, you can apply these principles across the board. So I guess if we just look really quickly how ChatGPT can help get things off the ground, the way that I like it is sometimes just getting words on the page is the hardest part. You kind of sit there and you write a sentence and then you delete it and then you start again and you're just like, this is impossible. So what I like to do is just say to ChatGPT, hey, this is the problem that I'm having right now, and start actually working through the situation where they'll start making recommendations. But I will show you through a bit of a guided method that I've been using. If you are in marketing, it can help you with strategy for brand, for messaging, for tone of voice, for PR, crisis comms. It can put together plans in seconds that can really help you move fast, especially in the age where PR crises happen more often than not, and we need to move fast with responses, or sales pitches need to respond to a tender quicker than ever. So ChatGPT can help you with that. The team is going to touch on content creation in a moment, which is really, really cool. You can actually put together copywriting, so you can do ads or emails or landing pages. Anything you can kind of imagine can be done through ChatGPT, but ultimately it needs to be about your prompt and the context that you give, because otherwise, if you just ask for a landing page, it won't actually know what you want. So we're going to talk about ways that you can provide ChatGPT with as much context as it needs. I've kind of gone through landing page content, and then also my fave at the moment, because we are very deep in SEO, is it can create optimized meta titles, descriptions. It can give you a plan on keywords, how to implement them across your website. So you actually don't need to pay thousands and thousands of dollars to get an SEO specialist in. You have ChatGPT to be able to help you. And even on the learning journey where you go, I actually don't know where to put those keywords, you can ask ChatGPT where you should put them. So everything that you need to succeed is here. So I'm going to go through a scenario in the way that I approach ChatGPT. So if we had a client, we call them United Care Network, and we need to put together a strategy for a paid campaign overnight. It just needs to be like a 2-page strategy of how we're going to amplify their brand. So first I ask, hey, ChatGPT, what information do you need from me to develop this? And that way, instead of you putting in information that isn't relevant, it means that you can actually provide every single bit of information that ChatGPT knows that it needs to provide you with a really strong strategy. So it could, in this case, it's like organization overview, target audience, marketing goals, competitor analysis, what your budget is, all the basic questions that you would usually know when you're designing a campaign. But this can also work if you're in a sales process as well. You can talk about who you're pitching to, the tender requirements, and everything that you need. So actually, I'll go back quickly. Please write in English language. And I've put this in the next one as well, is make sure it's English UK, because otherwise it exports in US English. It means you have to change and spend more time editing the copy. So that's just a little quick tidbit for you there. So this is the one time it's okay to share your heart and soul and pour out everything that you know about yourself and your brand. So start, now that ChatGPT has shown you the areas, you can go into as much detail as you possibly can to provide ChatGPT with the context. So it's kind of like if you just walk up to a stranger and say, hey, give me a marketing strategy. They'll be like, but who are you? What are your challenges? What's your budget? What's going on? It's the same situation with ChatGPT. So this is the time to really invest time in this. So I suggest there are some tips later on, but you can export CSV from Google Analytics. You can put in meeting notes. You can export you can copy and paste landing page content into ChatGPT to give it everything that it needs to understand tone of voice, and to save you time in the long run. So this is your prompt and your power. If you're giving ChatGPT basic prompts, it's probably going to give you a basic response. So this is a template of something that I've been using to help me generate campaign strategies. Is, okay, now that you have all the relevant information, you are a marketing expert. You're experienced in developing digital marketing strategies that engage and convert. So you're telling them who they are and what their job is to do. You are to develop a 2-page strategy, and these are all the areas that I need support in. So I need a campaign concept with a tagline, audience, you can kind of read through it, but the biggest time saver here is use bolded headers, use dot points, share the why behind your recommendation, so that when you're pitching it to your internal teams or you're pitching it to a client, you have the reasoning and expertise. So technically you've got like a consultant right here helping you on your journey. And again, UK English to save time there as well. So now this is what it pops up. So you can see here, it's got the bolded headers. Our concept for our campaign is empower the future. And our tagline is donate small and impact big. It's given the reasoning as to why that it's put this tagline together. It's got the audience strategy, who you're targeting, and then it goes on about platforms to use like Google Ads, different taglines to use in Google Ads. So I literally did that in 5 minutes. So it's pretty quick. However, our power is us, and as marketers and in the roles that we play in our organizations, is we have the experience. So sometimes I'll take out 50% of what ChatGPT will put together, but that's my power now that I can be able to change and adapt and build upon that with my experience. So other ways that you can strengthen your strategy and to give ChatGPT more info is Anthony actually developed a plugin with the help of ChatGPT for Chrome, where you can actually copy and paste landing page content with H1s, H2s, and everything that you need. So super insightful if you wanted to copy and paste your competitors' landing pages and get an analysis of their content strategy, their tone of voice, anything you need. You can also export CSV from GA. You can actually, if you're doing like a workshop in Miro, you can copy and paste all of that information into ChatGPT, and it can summarize all of your notes as well as an email to clients. So super, super powerful tool. I know I'm talking for ages, but I actually didn't think I was super nerdy about this, but apparently I am. So yes, that is everything from a strategy perspective. As the incredible Tay says, it is incredible. It's an extraordinary time to be around with ChatGPT. So I hope that that was able to be educational for you. So now I'm going to move on to Nat from LA. So Nat.
Thanks, Kate. I'm going to be talking about how to use AI to connect with your customers. And let's be honest, it is no secret. We can go to the next slide. It is no secret that in this competitive world of advertising, understanding your customers is the key to winning their hearts and essentially their wallets. You need to know who they are, what their pain points are, how that makes them feel, and why your solution is the answer to their problems. So in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you how to use ChatGPT to better connect with your customers using the example that Kate just shared, United Care Network. What we're going to do then is use this information to create video content for Facebook ads, and more specifically to create UGC scripts so that content creators can make your video ads and then you can use them across all of your Facebook campaigns. So step one, first things first, give context. We need to start by giving ChatGPT context about your brand and most popular product or service. So here is where you can overshare, as Kate mentioned. And by the way, this can easily be applied to product-based businesses as well, or any other business for that matter. Here I've just given the example of a service-based business, and I've given ChatGPT some context about who we are and what we do, and all I've asked them to do is just reply yes if they understand this message. I think that's just a really good way to make sure that ChatGPT is on the journey with you and they're not just spitting out content that may not be relevant. So step number two, we want ChatGPT to list out the pain points that our target audience has. I basically just asked them to list out the pain points. And as you can see here, ChatGPT has really gone into detail, given as a lot of information that we might not have otherwise thought of. So just like Kate said, ChatGPT can really be your consultant or an employee or another brain to lean on. So step 3 is we want ChatGPT to delve into the details and elaborate a little bit further on the day-to-day problems that my target demo has. And this allows me to connect with my customers on a deeper level. So you can see here, all I've done is ask ChatGPT to elaborate further on these problems. And ChatGPT here has gone into even more detail, which will help us when it comes to crafting our scripts. So step 4 is asking ChatGPT to list all of the most popular products out there to solve this problem and why they failed. So we're basically asking ChatGPT to tell me how I can position my product or my service compared to my competitors. And I think sometimes as marketing managers, business owners, we don't often take a macro view of our businesses and think about, how we can position our product or service differently. So once again, ChatGPT is generating ideas that you might not have otherwise thought of. So step 5, now that we have all the details, this is the part that we can customize depending on what you need the information for. In this scenario, as I said, I'm going to use this to write a UGC script that I can then give to my content creator. But you can also use this to create any other marketing material. So for advertorials, editorials, blog posts, Facebook ad copies, basically anything for marketing that you need, you can ask in this at this stage of the ChatGPT process. I basically asked ChatGPT to act like a professional copywriter whose focus is on Facebook ads. And I've asked ChatGPT to write me a script using a hook problem solution method. And as you can see here, ChatGPT has spat out an amazing result in a table format. So I'm able to use this script as a base and chop and change different parts based on what I would like for my content creator. So the last step, finally, step 6, is to ask ChatGPT to turn that table into a script turn that table into an easy to understand brief that I can then give to my UGC creator. And I can use that to create stunning ads. So you can see here that ChatGPT has spat out a full creative brief that I can literally copy and paste and give to a bunch of creators to make my Facebook campaigns that much more impactful. That's a really simple way to get UGC content. I hope that was helpful. I'll now pass you on to Tim, who is going to talk about pulling insights from complex data using AI.
Thank you, Nat, for running through that with us. So hi, guys. My name is Tim. I'm joining here from the sunny state of Queensland. Don't worry, I didn't try and convince Anthony to work from home on this particular day. So I guess we've spoken about strategy, we've spoken about paid ads, about content copy. So I'd like to actually tie all of this together to see what we get at the end of these amazing campaigns that we'd be running. So data and analytics, and obviously with the arrival of ChatGPT, has a huge way of working together. And the main thing here is that data is really what drives a lot of things in our lives. Like, our Apple Watches love to kindly remind us of how many steps we used to walk last week, and obviously how addicted we are to TikTok. But frustratingly so, looking at this data can actually be quite overwhelming. And, even for someone like myself who looks at this all the time, sometimes it can make me look like the next slide. It's definitely can be a little bit overwhelming. And the purpose of data is that it actually paints a picture of what's happening. So there's actually a little bit of storytelling in that, and we want to try and extract that in the best way possible. So this is where ChatGPT comes in, obviously. So I'm going to quickly run through a couple of things of how it's really helped transform our reporting process, and how it's actually helped us to supercharge what we're doing. So if we're looking at this from a perspective of a digital marketing campaign, for example, the most common platforms we'd be using would be Meta ads or Google ads. We'd be downloading these all that data as a CSV, and also from GA4, which is Google Analytics 4. So what we want to do is take all of those data points and actually extract all that information and put it into ChatGPT. It's not just a copy and paste, but we do actually have to give it a bit more context. So in the next slide, I'll just talk a little bit about the script that we use. So this is the magic script source that we're basically using at the moment. As Kate and Nat have talked about, context is very, very important. We can't just data dump things in there and just expect it to give us everything we want. We do have to give it a little bit more prompting. So here you can see that we're talking about how we want it to act as a digital marketing specialist. We want to ask it to be an analyst and also break down the performance of this data set. And this can work for any time frame. So this can be like 15 days in the last 15 days, or in the last 30 days, or it can be the last quarter report, however you want it to chop and change it. Then we give it instructions to actually put in your H1 and H2 tags, as well as titles and subtitles. And then we really want to make sure that it writes insights and recommendations, because if you just data dump things in there, it's not going to actually do all that. You have to prompt it to do so. So after you've done this, at the bottom of the script, you would put in your CSV files that you've just downloaded, and then it's pretty much going to look like this. Next slide. Yep. Oh, I think that's the one. You're all good. Yeah, so it's going to actually collate all of this information, and ChatGPT acts like a distilling tool where we can actually summarize all of these main points of the campaigns that we've just been running and give it to us in a really easy to read format. I think that's the thing with data, is that sometimes it can be quite overwhelming and you get, data analysis paralysis kind of thing. But with ChatGPT, it actually really helps to give it to us, give us the data in a way that we can really understand. Is it a silver bullet? I wouldn't say so, but it does get pretty close. So I'd probably say it gets to 80 or 90% of the work there. So how do we go to the next slide? And how do we go to that extra mile of really making sure we're adding in our own feedback, our own recommendations? So let's get nerdy with it. With ChatGPT, it's really important that we obviously give it context. So sometimes I've got a lot of insights because, I know the client, I might know more context around what's happening with their campaigns or why they actually launched the campaigns in the first place. You want to make sure that that's all being encapsulated. So what I like to do is actually just look at the analytics as if I'm just talking about it. And I use a tool like Loom. I don't know if you guys have used that before, but basically it's like a recording tool that you can use to basically record your reports or anything that you're using on your laptop. And then you can share that link of that video to whoever it is that you want it to be. But the awesome thing about this is that it actually gives you a transcript afterwards, and it's actually quite accurate. I've done it so many times, and it does work quite well. Even if sometimes I don't English properly, it does definitely pick up all of those main points really well. So this next slide is going to show you what Loom looks like. So what I would do is, as you can see, there's a little video, and you've got there's a little dashboard in there. I would just talk about what I've seen has been working, what hasn't been working. I talk about the main data points, and all of this stuff, it's just getting it transcripted. So it's actually really, really great. And then all you do is take the same prompt that you used previously in the previous slides. You don't have to go there. Okay, that's all good. And just copy and paste that transcript at the bottom. And then it's actually going to give you more context because you've now got your own personal recommendations. You've got your own insights into what's been working, what's not. And it still is able to actually decodify everything and put it in a report that's really easy to understand. And I've used this many, many times. So it doesn't have to be related to digital marketing tools like the ones that I've showed you before. It can truly be about anything, as long as you're actually giving it context, you're giving it the right prompts, like we've shown you before. It's really going to be a great way to summarize all of that data, and it's going to make it easy for our human brains to just understand what's going on. So yeah, you don't have to be afraid of data. I know it can be a little bit scary sometimes and trying to make sense of it all, but just have the confidence knowing that you know what you're talking about, and ChatGPT is definitely a tool that's going to help you get to that point. So now I'm just going to pass it over to Anthony, who's going to talk about content generation and AI.
Awesome, thanks, Tim. And just one thing might be worth noting with kind of putting all of this data into ChatGPT is I'd always assume that whatever you put in there is going to be made public. So, that might mean that you might want to take, say, confidential data, definitely take confidential data out of anything that you put up there. So maybe if you were to export these CSVs, might be removing the company name or something like that. And there's also private browsing or private chatting mode on ChatGPT as well. So recommend turning that on if you're worried at all about that side of things. So we've got couple of minutes left, so I'll go through fairly quickly on my slides. But content creation is always so tricky. In our industry, it's always one of the hardest things to get content together from clients or generated ourselves. So why is it so hard? So you really need to be an expert in all of these skills to generate great content. You need to be a copywriter. You need to be well-versed in sales and persuasion techniques, photography, videography. You need to be across all the latest SEO and SEM trends and insights. You need to be into data analytics, email marketing, UX, market research, and branding. So it's a lot to ask of, you know, a whole team, let alone one person. So it's often why it gets put on the back burner. It's why blogs go, you know, unupdated for years, and it's why it's so hard to get content together. So, and on top of all that, you also need the time to do it, which none of us have either. So in the next 5 minutes, you'll learn how to define your brand voice, master copywriting, and become a pro photographer with ChatGPT and Midjourney. So in terms of defining your brand voice, so this is something that I hear a lot, ChatGPT sucks at writing. So often that is because you're not giving it the right context, which we've spoken about already. So a tone of voice guide is something that can really help with this. So a tone of voice guide is essentially how you want your brand to sound and how you want to communicate to your target audience. And you will create a ChatGPT prompt template now, so that basically you can accompany that with anything that you try to do, so that you're going to get consistent results for everything that you start doing on ChatGPT. So again, like Kate spoke about earlier, the best way to always start is with a question. So in this case, I've just said, can you list the relevant questions you need me to answer to put this together? And then it's just a matter of answering the questions that it's given you. So again, in this case, I invented an ice cream company and went through and gave it a little bit of context on what I imagined this company to be. So then got a bit excited, went into Midjourney and created an image of that ice cream. So I do kind of want it to be a real thing now. But anyway, this is what it gave me back. So it even came up with the name Chill Thrills, put together a brand personality, some adjectives, emotions. And basically this is really spot on with like what I was envisioning for this imaginary ice cream brand. So, and it even put in some AI communication guidelines at the end. So it's kind of giving itself some rules to abide by and things to avoid. So basically now you've got your template here. So whatever it is that you want to do, in this case, like an A4 flyer for our open day or grand opening, it's just kind of asking it what you want it to do, any other extra specifics, and then pasting your tone of voice guide below. And this is an example of maybe a generic output that you'd get if you just said, write me in, you know, a flyer for my ice cream shop opening day, which is all pretty generic and bland. But if you kind of apply your brand voice filter, it's bringing in a lot more of the emotion and keywords that we kind of gave it initially to work within. So much better result. So recommend trying that if it's not giving you what you need in terms of output. And now you've got some homework, you can do all of that for your businesses, so that should keep you busy. So next, let's become pro photographers and illustrators. Apologies if there's anyone in the audience. I'm not actually thinking you're going to become a pro, so not trying to cause any offense there, but want to show you also what it's actually capable of. So ChatGPT and Midjourney is actually a match made in heaven. Often some people get into Midjourney or ChatGPT, but they're not using them together. So in this case, and for the examples I'm going to show you, I actually asked ChatGPT to describe scenes of random people or things that I could use to show off the power of AI generation tools. So in this case, it straight away came up with 10 really descriptive scenes, a mystical library, retro futuristic metropolis, carnival in the clouds. So all super creative and a good example of why these AI tools are starting to rank higher than humans in terms of creativity. So for those that haven't used Midjourney before, we're going a few minutes over. It's a tiny bit more complicated than ChatGPT just to set up initially, but then it's super easy. So you'll need to download Discord and install the Midjourney app, but then it's just a matter of imagining whatever it is that you want. You type /imagine and then a prompt, just like ChatGPT, So in this case, I just copy and pasted the descriptions, which I used as the prompts into Midjourney. No changes to it. And this is what it came up with, exactly as described. So there's the image. It's really almost photorealistic, really nice shot. There it is a little bit closer up, so you can see the detail. But maybe you want a bit more of an illustrative kind of scene, so it can do that too. Or it could imagine kind of 3D models and art. It's also quite good at 2D illustrations. Not great, but we're only like a few months in. You can see where this is heading. And logos are probably the worst right now. But again, you can see it's starting to play around with lettering and logos. And, you know, again, this is going to be kind of amazing in a couple of years, or maybe even a year's time. And this is also cool, again, like ChatGPT, refining what you get. In this case, it was kind of like a surreal shot of a phoenix in a library stacked on books, but you can just add a vector 5-color corporate illustration of a phoenix in a library stacked on books, and it just changes the style of it instantly. And anyone that's in the creative industry, like the time that you spend searching iStock or looking for these images is some of the most painful time you can spend in your life. So yeah, it's an absolutely amazing. This kind of talks to the initial point that I had in aged care. This lady here doesn't exist, unfortunately. She looks like she'd be a super friendly grandma, so that's kind of unfortunate. But yeah, you can see again, like the photorealistic quality is just amazing. So so easy. And that was just a simple prompt, like imagining a happy grandma drinking a cup of tea. Like you don't have to get any more complicated than that. So it does have some limitations, just a couple of slides left. This initially looks like a really nice shot of a lady helping another lady out of a car. But then when you kind of zoom in closely, you can see that there's some stuff happening with the door there. Like it's not so good at figuring out three-dimensional kind of things. Sometimes it really struggles. It has actually got hands. Hands was one of the trickiest things for it to get right. It's got that right, believe it or not, in the latest version. But once it's two people holding hands with a door involved, it gets a bit confused. But we're still very early days. This is not a problem that's going to be around for much longer. So yeah, I think, well, the advice that I hear from all the podcasts and everyone in leading this at the moment is that the best thing that you can do really is to stay curious and learn this stuff and keep up to date with it, even if it does seem a little bit overwhelming. But yeah, if you want more of this and want some other free AI guides, I've put together some of this stuff on my LinkedIn, so you can check that out. QR code's there if you want it, or you can just search my name. And I do have some limited spots for consulting too. If anyone's interested in that, come and chat to me after, or again, check me out on LinkedIn. But yeah, that's it. That's us. Thank you.
No questions.
Does anyone have any questions? Yes. It will. Yep. There, if you zoom in on that QR code, yeah, you can download the slides. Good question though.
Alrighty.
Anybody else? Yes.
Generated AI free.
Yeah, so that's the other great thing. Like it's all kind of in the courts at the moment as to where it gets its training from, but essentially you own the copyright. Like I can go and blow those photos up and use them on a billboard, and I've got no issues at all with that. So that's one of the amazing things about it too. Okay. Yeah. Anybody else? No. All right. Thanks everyone for your time. Hope you learned something. Oh, sorry. We're really open about it. So this is something that we use as basically a real positive. So clients find it a real blocker as well, because they have to work with us to generate the content. So now they can work with us and AI and achieve a lot more. So yeah, we're really open about it. So it's not a matter of like disclosing anything, but definitely some of our clients are then proactively telling us that they are more conservative on the AI front. So they don't want us, putting any of their data, even if it's just web content, into AI tools. So yeah, I mean, I think everyone has different perspectives on that, and yeah, we'll definitely, we abide by whatever our clients need, but yeah, we're quite open about it.
Cool.
No worries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right.